take a look at this gorgeous handbag. What if I told you guys that you can make this in less than an hour and a half and for just about $10? Let's look inside. It is fully lined with complimentary fabric, and it has 2 large patch pockets where you can put your mobile phone or some other type of mobile device. Just grab your organizer, stick it in, grab the sturdy handles, and pretty much you're on your way with a beautiful tote. You can take this to the beach. You can use this as your everyday handbag. Look at our dog Cora photobombing me, guys. She just would not move from the tree. Now let me show you what we're going to make it with. Fat quarters. 1 single fat quarter is 97 cents each, while a stack of 5 is $4.88 to $5.84, just depending on which one you grab here from the store. So the hardest part is picking a pack that you're going to like, all right? So I'm just checking them all out, and I've selected one. So let me show you what I got. A stack of 5. I know that in some places they come by a stack of 6, but this is a stack of 5. So let me cut it open and see what we have here. So we're going to pick 2 colors for the outside and 2 colors for the inside of the bag. And then the last one we're going to use for the handle. I'm allowing Joe to pick which one's going to go where because he has a great eye for color schemes and stuff like that. So Joe gets to choose. This is the decision. This is the top of the outside of the bag. This is the bottom. This is the top of the inside. This is the bottom. And this will be the strap. All right. So let's see how we slice this up. So being that this is the top, all we have to do is open the fat quarter, this one piece, and fold it along the length. Don't fold it this way. All right. Fold it this way along the length. I'm going to iron it because I'm going to cut it straight in half. So just let me go ahead and steam iron my fabric. It's folded in half the long way. And I'm going to use my wheel. I'm ironing the one for the lining too. I'm going to use my wheel to just cut straight down this line that's creased here for me. Very carefully because 1, I don't want to go out of the beaten path, and 2, I don't want to cut my fingers. So this is the one for the lining for the inside for the top part of the bag. Now what I'm cutting is what I call the border of the bag, which is the bottom part but not the base. And the template that I'm using right now with the purple fabric is actually the template for a smaller bag. Same type of bag but a smaller one. But I want this bag to be big, so I'm going to use the whole, I guess I want to say the length, but it's on the shorter side of the fabric that I'm cutting, right? So it's 5 inches wide by the whole length of whatever the fat quarter is. So I'm using this one as my template to cut the second piece out, and this is for the outside. Now, let me show you what I have. So I have the 2 top parts for the outside, the 2 borders for the outside, and then I have the base for the outside. And the base is actually 4 inches wide by, oh, let me show you this. This is a smaller bag, and this is 13 wide for the border, so then the base has to be 9. All right, this is the base that goes on the bottom. So if you're going to make the bag bigger, your base is always going to be 4 less than your border. So my border here for this one is right at about 18. So the base is going to have to be 14. So it's 4 less. All right. You guys get it? Because I'm resizing the bag as we go. So this is just leftover stuff right here from the fat quarters. And I'm going to use that last one, remember, to go ahead and make my straps. And I'm going to have leftovers to do the patch pocket. So I need 2 pieces for the straps. It's too wide by the whole length, the long way. Not the shorter way on the fabric, right? The long way. Now the leftover right here is what I'm going to use one to make the pocket. All right, so let's sew the border on to the top part of the bag. So I've just faced it correct side to correct side, and Joe's going to sew right along the bottom here, and he's going to do it for all 4 pieces. So he's just sewing a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and we're sewing the border on to the top part of the bag. Very simple so far, right? So see, it's all done. See, he's sewn here, and he's done it to all 4 pieces. See right here? Don't worry, I'm going to flip them over the right way so you can see how it's looking. So that's 1 piece. Well, that's 2 pieces. The 2 outside, and then now the 2 inside. See? Top and bottom. Now, it's just a perfect rectangle, but we're going to need to get it into that V shape because the bag has kind of like a tapered piece on the bottom. So we want to measure 2 inches from the bottom. I'm going to pin it just so I can remember where I marked because I don't have any of the marking chalks or the pens or anything right now. And the piece of fabric is folded straight in half, all right? So put the ruler where the 2 inches is, and then take it up to the peak and use the wheel to just cut it. And this is how we get that somewhat of a V shape for the shape of the bag. And we want to do it with all 4 pieces. So this is the lining piece right here. I've ironed open my seam allowance on all 4 pieces, and what I want to do now is put on a patch pocket on one of the lining piece. And you want to put the pocket on the pretty side of the lining piece because that's the piece that's going to be shown inside the bag. Just bend the edges, pin it, and then sew around the edges and a line right down the middle. And Joe has done so, and he's put 2 lines in the middle because he says that makes the pockets stronger. All right, so that's done. So I'm going to use this craft fuse. If you want your bag to stand by itself, you're going to need something thicker, but this is all I have, so this is what I'm going to use, all right? All right, so what I did was cut the piece of craft fuse to match this. Then I folded it, and I went around and measured a 1/2 inch on here, 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, and just cut it off. Because I want this to be a little bit less than this piece, because we're really supposed to be using this thing called Bosal foam that's really thicker, but I can't find it in Walmart, and that's where I go to get my stuff. So pretty much what you want to do is use this as your seam allowance. So I'm going to use this piece as a template to cut another one for the next outside piece. I'm going to cut piece for the bottom and do the same thing to it. See the bottom here, the base where the bag sits, and then we're going to interface this too, all the outside pieces. So just let me go ahead and iron this piece onto the base, and see we have the edges that is the seam allowance, and take a look at how we do the straps. All right, so it's folded in like this. Joe irons it, and then he folds it one more time. So take a look at how he starts. He has the interfacer on, ironed on already. He folds the strap right in half, and he carefully irons because he doesn't want to burn himself. I hear that they sell thermal thimbles at the store, but we've never bought one because we've never really gotten burned, but we get stabbed a lot by the needles. So fold it to meet the line, iron it, and then fold it again. So this is the lining, and I have it facing, I always say pretty side to pretty side, so it's correct side to correct side. Make sure this is lined up, your seams, because it's going to look bad if it's off. This is the outside part. I've done the same thing, pretty side to pretty side. And what Joe's going to come and do now is sew up these sides of the outside and the lining. See right here, this is seam allowance now, because we're not going to sew through the interfacer. And then he's also going to sew up the straps. He's going to sew on this side, and he might sew on the other side to make it even. I'm not sure. We'll see when he comes. But the bag's almost done. So Joe is sewing the sides of the outer part and the lining. So the left side and the right side. And it's pretty easy because it's just a straight line, says the person who doesn't use the sewing machine, right? So here's the lining part. Make sure that you keep your seams open. And don't do anything to the bottom. It's only the sides. Now he's doing the strap, well, the straps, both of them, and he's sewing on both sides of the straps because he wants it to be balanced out, all right? All right, guys, so we're going to put the base on, but remember you can't do it like this because we want the pretty side to show that away, right? So we got to fold it, and when we fold it, we usually mark it here with something, but it's staying pretty well here with the crease. So let's do it like this. You want to go find this one seam right here, open it up, you get that crease that we had that we just marked, pin it, then grab the next end of the bag, find your crease again, see the crease right here, and then go here, open up your seam, and then pin it. So then we're going to sew around and around and around. Alright, but I'm going to base the lining first, just so you guys can see how it's going to look when Joe sews it. I use bright red thread so you guys can see. You need to keep your seams open on all the ends and just sew around. Start here, come around, go on the bottom, go right around, and you want to leave this big gap open because this is going to be your turnover hole. So after the base is sewed on, keep the lining like this, inside out, but turn the outside part the proper way, the correct way, because now we're gonna put on our little straps. I measured 7 inches from the ends because the bag is right about 21 inches wide on the top here, so I figured going in about 7 inches would be great. Follow it like this so it's not twisting on you, okay? And let's see. About there. And make sure the other one, oh, to test it, do this. You can do that, you see that it's not twisted. I want to make sure the other one fits the same way. I'm going to go find it here, line it up, and pin it the same way. So after pinning that one side, follow the strap and make sure that it's not twisted. And then just go ahead and pin the other side, making sure that it's matching up with what's going on the opposite side of the bag. Test it again, make sure it's not twisted. Yeah, so now Joe's going to sew it on right here on both sides. And I had him sew as close to the edge as we can because that's the way this bag is supposed to be. So now the outer part of the bag is on the correct side and I'm stuffing it inside the lining, which is on the wrong side. And I want to make sure that my straps are on the correct side of the bag, but inside the lining. See, it's correct. I want to make sure that the two straps didn't flip over to one side. So now what I have to do is line up my seams here, pin them, and then ask Joe to go ahead and sew right around the top, 1/2 inch seam allowance still. And then after he gets all the way around, I'm going to give him the opportunity to turn the bag over because this is the most satisfying part. And sometimes we fight over this, but it's Joe's turn. Let him enjoy this. So just pull the whole bag through and then stuff the lining back inside of the bag. And then I'm going to pin the edges or iron it, whichever one's easiest for you. So Joe can do a top sew around and around the bag, making sure that he doesn't trap his straps, all right? Make the straps stay up and sew around the top part. Right, Joe's being all fancy and sew 2 rows, but you don't have to sew 2 rows. Now let's close up that gap on the inside. It tends to want to go the correct way already.
If you could get it without iron it, it's alright.
And I'll just pin it because he could pull out the pins. We just want to sew that gap shut because if not, we're going to have a big hole in our bags or in our bag. Alright guys, take a look. See, I have my organizer with stuff in here. I'm going to show you guys how to make one of these really soon, alright? Let me put this back in here just to show you how we wear the bag. Look at it. Nice big sturdy bag. Well, it's not as sturdy as it should be because if you can find that Bozo foam that irons on, use that better than what I've used today. I just can't find it. I find foam, but it's not iron on. Alright? So it's, the bag will not stand too strong on its own. But it's fine. I'm going to use this bag to go to the post office with all the stuff that I mail every week. Alright? So this is going to be my new post office bag. Take a look at the inside. See, we did that color and that color for the bottom. The pocket is a different pattern that goes with the handle. And this is the outside, top and bottom, and the base. We ready, right? Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, comment, all that good stuff, and ask me any questions. I'll try to answer you if I can. Bye. Alright guys, so see. Cora! Alright guys, so see how it gives it some balance to sew both sides?
Cora! Cora, shut up! Shut up!
Show it.
Shut up,
No
Cora.
talking. No talking.
Yeah, Cora.
I gotta show something.